And hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Say What Podcast with Lauralie. And today's a very special one because we're both post Arnold's, and it is going to be basically everything Arnold's US. That's just happened.
Welcome to this special episode, special Arnold exclusive episode. Babe, I'm super excited to talk to you today.
I know.
Um,
How are
we're, I
you?
mean, we're exactly 1 week post Arnold,
That's
and I mean,
how.
let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
Um, how time flies, it's completely insane. But you're now back home in the UK. I'm back home in Florida, all settled in. Obviously, on to our next, part of things. But definitely want to dive into the Arnold experience. That was your second Arnold, right? Second Arnold or
Yeah.
third?
Second. No. Second.
Second
Second
US
Arnold. Yeah.
Second Arnold for you, obviously very special. This whole prep was very interesting and, I mean, Olympia, then the Arnold. So, I mean, where can we even
I
start with the
know.
Arnolds?
I'm like, wow. Like, firstly, like, how is it a week post show? Like you
Yeah.
said, it's gone so quickly, and like, I don't even know what I've done this past week. Like, obviously, I've done a lot, but you know, when it goes that quick, you're like, holy shit, what did I actually do? So yeah, I'm like, okay, let's start from the beginning. So, I mean, when did you arrive in Ohio? You
I
arrived
got in
last week.
Ohio on Tuesday afternoon.
Nice.
So my parents actually picked me up from the airport, and it's super close, the commute from the airport to the hotel. But what we did, we went to Whole Foods right away, and then I was like, there's a nail salon that I've done my nails last year over there, and I remember that it was great. So I'm like, I gotta do my nails. Let's go see if they have an appointment. So I'm walking in. They're like, in 15 minutes we can have you. And I'm looking at my mom. I'm like, Mom, do you want to have a manicure? My mom never got a manicure. I'm like, oh my God, today is the day. So like, got a manicure
Yeah.
for my mom. So we got, we went to Whole Foods, did everything in 30 minutes because I did like a grocery list that I needed in the plane. So Whole Foods, 30 minutes, grabbed my meal, brought it with me at the nail salon, got a pedicure. My mom got a manicure and then finished my nails. And then we head back to the hotel. And I was just like, wait, you guys have an Airbnb? Why would I go to the hotel now, chicken? Like I could just stay with y'all. I cooked all my meals, but I was like, I rather wake up, stay with my family and just wake up in the morning, do my little like breakfast on the skillet. As long as I could stay, I didn't really need to check in until Kim was coming in, the next day on Wednesday, afternoon, just to make it easier for us to communicate. And so on Wednesday, I check in at the hotel, and freaking me, brain dead, leaves her phone in my parents' car. So
Oh.
it's like almost like it's 10 o'clock. Like I'm just about to go see Kim right before my last meal to check in with him, and see what my last meal is going to be. Bro, I lost my phone. Okay, left my phone in the thing. So here's what happens when you lose your phone, and now you've been living obviously addicted to your phone and not being smart about it. The only phone number I know by heart is Aldo's. So I'm over here on the first of all, I go downstairs. I'm like, did someone, my parents left my phone? Like, did they realize my phone was there? I'm like trying to call my phone so it could ring in the back of the car. Obviously, it was on silent. Like, I didn't put my phone on. Trying to call my phone. Now I'm going up and down, up and down. I'm sweating. It's like almost like 11 o'clock. I know that Kim is like super tired from his trip because he needs to like travel the whole day from the West Coast. Bro, I started calling rooms because I'm like, I know that Kim told me, bro. Because obviously I'm calling Aldo too. I'm like trying to call Aldo because I'm like, Aldo knows my mom's phone number, and then we can go from there. Just like him telling Kim to come see me, whatever. So I'm like calling. Oh, he's probably like, who's Hilton like calling me? Why is Hilton calling me? Like, doesn't pick up. Then I start calling rooms, bro, but it's like super late. Actually fell on Angelica Teixeira. Like after
What?
like, so can't find out like I'm like 12. I was so off too. I was like, okay, 12:55, 12. It was like something,
Yeah.
12:30. And then I hit 12:20, and she picks up. I'm like, hi, may I speak with Kim, please? I was like super like,
That's so
and
funny.
she's like, no, this is Angelica. I'm like, wait, Angelica, this is Lauralie. And then we started freaking laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's like, no, I was awake. You're fine. Like, what's going on? I'm like, oh my God, this is so crazy that I fell on you. Like, seriously, would you text Kim? Like, I just lost my phone. So everything, Kim, like, 15 minutes happened. He knocks on the door. He's like, hi, cuckoo bird. I'm like, oh my God, I know. Okay.
And
And
that's hilarious.
I know, isn't that the freaking crazy? So basically, I'm gonna try to memorize my mom's phone number
Yeah.
wherever I travel, because that would be like actual smart things to do, or like someone's phone number that wouldn't look. And then, bro, I'm like looking at my bill at the end of the trip, and I got charged for all the phone calls that I did on the
No.
outside, babe. Like $6.96, $7 for each call.
Each
Yeah,
call.
so I have a
That's
pretty,
annoying.
yeah, I have a lot of bills, but
It
these
looked
were
like
my
it sounded like
first.
it went really good though. Like you had like a good like the nail salon was like great, and then you got your Whole Food stuff. Like it was going so well, and then all of a
Babe,
sudden, yeah, phone lost.
that was Tuesday, and then Wednesday, the whole day was great, and then the plan was to just come upstairs, text Kim, hey, go get my chicken done, go get my last meal, go to bed. I was like already like melatonin out. I was like almost out, like sleepy bird, and then now I'm like spiked on adrenaline, and it's like
Oh,
12
love
p.m.
that.
I'm like, what's going on?
What's
So that
going
was that
on?
was my first day in Columbus, and then obviously Thursday comes, and that's when the whole thing starts. But you tell me, when did you get in? How was your trip? Because you were coming out from Vegas. So
Yeah, we flew. We decided to fly red eye, which I don't know at the time if it was like I was like, oh, the flight, like this is a great flight. I don't have to then be there like too early on the Wednesday or whatever. So I was like, we fly in Wednesday evening, Vegas time at like 10 o'clock at night, right? Or no, like 10, yeah, 10:30, 11. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. And then we land at around like 6 a.m. Columbus time. I was like, that's not too bad. Then I can go have a nap. I can lie down. They can check in, whatever. Like, it's easy. Cool. Then flight gets delayed. So we didn't take off until 1 a.m. I was like in the airport. And it's so, do you know what's hilarious? Which is hilarious that we both have like a little story with like competitors like going to the Arnolds or whatnot. So when we were at the airport, I was on the same flight as Amy. Oh, what's her name? What's her second name? My name's just gone blank. D. Amy. Oh my god.
Delgado,
Yeah.
Amy
Why did
Delgado.
I that the Amy I got my brain just went complete. That's peak week for me right now, but that went completely. So yeah, I was on the same flight as her daughter and her I think her parents or step parents or whatever. And I recognized them, but I didn't know if they recognized me. And I was also at the same time like, it's quite late at night. I'm not gonna go up to them and be like, "Hey, are you Amy's parents?" Like, "Oh, you're Amy's daughter," because if it's not, that's really weird. So, and then the hilarious thing is when they saw me at the meet and greet, and they were like, "You looked very different at the airport last night," because I was like bun up, literally asleep on the chairs because obviously the delay was so long, and they were like, "You looked very different, like from now to then," and I was like, "Yeah, no, it was really bad." So, but yeah, we landed at around like 7:30 in Ohio. Got our bags, came to the hotel. And I literally conked out. Like I literally we checked in, went straight up to the room, and I just fell asleep. Put my meals away, put all my food away because I brought all my food with me. Because obviously I was going straight to the hotel. So I thought I may as well cook everything I need just so I don't have to faff around with trying to get anything. And I also brought all my own rice cakes, which was like a full... I was even texting you before. I was like, I'm bringing my own rice cakes just in case that there's no rice cakes like in the area because there's no like actual grocery stores like walking distance wise in Ohio. Did you know that?
True,
Like
true.
I couldn't get anywhere like
It's
unless
it's
I get
very
Uber.
downtown.
Yeah,
It's very downtown, and you would have to probably Instacart a lot of stuff,
which I can't
or
do because
get
I don't have
stuff.
American. I don't have an American phone number, so I can't do that.
Mm,
So, but yeah, so I was like, just let's just prepare, let's plan. So I brought all my food, all things with me, so that was fine. And that was Thursday. So yeah, Thursday slept, and I slept until like 11. So we probably got into the room at around like 8:30, 8:45, and then I literally fell asleep for like a good 2.5 hours, like honked out. So I was like, good, this is great. Checked in, and then that was the beginning of my trip. So it wasn't as hectic. It was a little hectic at the beginning, but you know what it's like with these types of things. Like when a trip kind of goes hectic, especially this close to show, you just have to ride the wave. Like it is what it is. There's no point stressing about it because like regardless, you're gonna get through it. Like it's not the worst thing in the world that my flight's delayed. It would be sucky if it was like cancelled, but you don't need to project that energy into the world that it's like, oh my god, what if it cancels? Because it's not. Do you know what I mean? Only stress about things only stress about things that are happening, not happened, or like only stress about things that are happening in the moment, not pretend things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And like putting stress on things that, at the end of the day, if you even were to miss the athletes meeting on Thursday, like your show is Saturday, like
Yeah.
you could have gotten your number and like everything is workable, like working through it. Like everything is workable.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've always been kind of like super not nonchalant, but kind of like things happen as they need to happen. And people sometimes feel like, I'm just it's not about being it's not nonchalant. It's just kind of like, being stoic about it. It's just
Yeah.
like,
But
if it
calm.
happens,
Just
we're
calm.
going to find out. So,
Yeah.
babe, honestly, you wouldn't have been able to come in on Tuesday anyway because the weather was
Oh
so bad.
yeah.
They had tornado like alert and stuff. There's a lot of people that couldn't even get in. So yeah, that could have get messy. If that was closer to the show, that it could have got messy for a lot of like competitors. So
Yeah.
that's always stressful when it happens. But other than that, the weather was amazing. I don't know
Yeah.
for you because you were coming back like you were coming from obviously Vegas, and I think it was like warmer. You said, right? It was like
Yeah. It
warmer
started
before
to
you
get
left,
warm. Yeah. Start to get
but it's
warm.
still it's still very dry. Like for
Mm.
me, when I got in, babe, I was trying to moisturize myself. There was no possible way. Like and I use like the rich Eucerin, like super healing.
Yes.
I love my like thick
Super
Eucerin.
healing.
And nothing would stick. Like I was just so dry, and I was trying to like explain. Aldo gets nosebleeds like both in Vegas and Ohio, like
So
because
does
it's that
Max.
dry.
So does Max.
Really, it's
Yeah.
dry.
It's really dry.
Which it's good for us. Like,
Yeah, it's
don't get
great
me
for
wrong.
us.
Like, yeah.
No holding water or anything like that is fine. So, but okay. So then what happened for you? So then obviously Thursday. That was Thursday. So then what did you do Thursday? Like how was your day for Thursday?
So I've decided this year to not really hire any like videographer to follow me around, like no vlogging or whatever, because I was like, I feel like I've been there, done that, with the shows
Yeah.
and stuff. And I'm like, do people like still really want to see like a check-in with Kim? Like they just know the whole format thing. So
Yeah.
I think there's just more to say maybe about the show afterwards. And we were just so easygoing with the wave and everything. I didn't want to put any stress, but I was able to shoot with Gilco.
Yeah.
My last training session, that was awesome. So on that Thursday, we trained, shoot for a little bit, and then I went and got my hair blow dried. So after my last training, I always go get my hair blow dried. Like that's my little things. $40 to get my hair washed and blow dried. I was like, listen,
Is that
I would
cheap?
come every
That's cheap.
babe, it's cheap.
Yeah. I was
That's
thinking I don't get a blow dry, so I'm like, is that cheap? I think that's cheap.
babe. For $40, like it's an investment. I would just like go there, like please massage my head. Like it's especially with extension and how much hair I had for
Oh
this show because
yeah.
I had a lot more hair than normal. Like I already like I feel it in my neck sometimes. It's just a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Because I have them consistently in my head. So I was like, girl, and I had such a good time. Like it was downtown. I was able to like walk there. It was beautiful outside. So I got my hair all washed, and then we were getting ready for the athletes meeting and the meet and greet, and then that's when I call you.
Yeah, we were like
Yeah,
close. We were on the same side at least. I was like, I wish we were like together, but we had like a few people in between us. But that was
I
super
know.
nice that I could still see you. I like looked over at you and you were like doing your thing, and I was like cheering from afar, like go you, go girl. So that was really nice. So that sounds like a
Same.
chill Thursday, like a nice Thursday, which is good.
Yeah. What about
Yeah.
you? I mean, that's how it should be, you know? How was
I
your
mean, to be
Thursday?
fair, yeah, same. Mine was the exact same, where it was a case of like we went to like once I woke up from my nap, obviously then went to Pro's gym, trained, last training session, super light, like nothing with the lower. It was just mainly upper body, small pump,
Uh-huh.
with Sam, which was really really nice. It was because I train with Sam sometimes, and I love the way that she like pushes and trains me. So it was nice to just have someone to be able to just like push me that last kind of final session. And then did a little bit of posing afterwards, and then literally by that time it was around probably about 2:30. So then the athletes meeting was at around what 6, wasn't it? So
6:30.
went back then went back to did cardio, went back to the room, showered, chilled. Max went to get food. Like it was very like, again, it was just nice and calm. Like I think once you get to it feels very hectic all until you're actually in the like state or place that you are for your show. Do you know what I mean? Like once you're in Ohio, it's like, okay, cool. I know where I need to be. I know where I am. It's like nothing needs to be like stressful. Do you know what I mean? So once I got there, everything kind of just ran itself. So then yeah, we did the meet and greet, the athletes meeting, which was so cool because Arnold was there. Which I know Angelica was saying, she was like, I've never seen Arnold at like a athletes meeting before. Like I was like, that's pretty cool. Like
Yeah. So apparently
so
it was 15 years ago the last time he assisted to an athletes meeting. Yeah, he's never been there before, but apparently, I mean, he's been all weekend long, like a lot more involved than what he normally is.
yeah,
And I mean, he spoke how much he wants to like elevate the sport and just, give back to the athletes a lot. And it
yeah.
was such a great, inspiring, all around, um, great speech that he gave to us, and like the
Bro,
time and the
that's when we were both
story.
sat next to each other. We were both like this, just in awe. Like, holy fuck! When he was just talking about the athletes and talking about his journey and just the upcoming of everything, I was like, this is nuts.
I
Like,
was so
actually
into it.
nuts.
You remember? I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was
You're
so
so
vocal about
vocal.
it. I was so vocal about it.
Yeah.
But it
I
was
love
it was just
it.
it was just so calm and such a great time, and like the organization is so it's so well done, and it just felt very special all around. The athletes that were around, everybody felt really like special. There was a lot of Arnold debut, I think,
Yeah.
to be around. Um, and being around like one of the greatest, like, I mean, we have UK champ that's there, like Angelica, like two-time Miss Olympia, two-time Miss International, making her comeback. And then we have, Ivana, like, doing like, she's like
Doing
the
more.
European like girl, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like she's getting here. And then we have so many, like I said, Arnold debut that I just like stars in their eyes and kind of like really living through them. But it was such a like small little group, and it was just, I felt like
It
we
was so
felt so
fun.
proud. We
It
felt
was
so
so
proud
fun.
of being there, and it was so dope. Like I really enjoyed that meeting. I mean, I was late for the meet and greet a little bit because like I was like, this is such a, I mean, we were like talking and catching up with like everybody, and then um like the guys were there. There was like, some of the wellness competitors like made it walk through, like you were like, talking with Gilco, like we're taking pictures, and we're like, Phoebe, where were you for the picture? We're taking back again the
I
picture.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it was such an overall great time. And when those shows are like this, even though we have like it was 30 minutes, but we only had 30 minutes of meeting, but it did felt like we had time.
Yeah.
Like you get your number, like it wasn't rushed. We didn't really like we actually wanted to get the picture. Normally I just, it just goes so fast. People get their number and they're like, I'm checked out, goodbye, because we need to like move around. But
Yeah.
it was very calm, like you said, all over. So that was our Thursday. And then, crossing over to meet and greet. Yeah, you were right there. You were like 2 tables down, but I
Yeah.
was
I was like,
still,
hello.
and anyone that would like come and like have a t-shirt, I'm like, you just want to see Phoebe before me? I'm like, okay, it's okay. I'm not kidding. But I was like, my
No, but I
Phoebe.
loved it because I even saw a girl wearing your t-shirt as well, and I was like, "Is
I
that
know
a
she
chap's
came.
t-shirt? Is that a chap's t-shirt?" And she was like, "Yeah, it is." I was like, "That's so cute, though."
And then she came to my booth and she's like, oh my gosh, Phoebe like noticed my shirt. I was like, that's my girl. But Yeah, no, it was really fun. How was
Mm.
your meet and greet? I mean,
It was
success.
fun. It was, yeah, it was really great. Like, obviously, we took all the the shirts, we sold them all as well, which always still like shocks me, if I'm honest. Like, and like again, it for me, it's always hearing like people's stories and like
Yeah,
people's
girl.
like. There's so many girls that were coming up to me and being like, oh, do you know what? Like, there was young girls. Do you know what I mean? Like, there were like some of them were like, I think two girls that came up to me were like 17 years old. I can't remember their names. 17 years old. One that was like 18. And she was like, I listen to your podcast all the time, and I know you like speak about like health and getting a coach and like being like dedicated to the sport and taking your time. So that's what I'm doing. Like, I want to take time. Like, and I was like hearing this like. I was like, the fact one, you're 17 and like you have your head screwed on way more than I did when I was 17, and like two, like that's amazing that we can have that impact on someone that's that young into the sport. That because again, someone that loves the sport can just be like, I just want to compete and just get up on stage and make very rash decisions and be like, it could potentially, obviously, not ruin their career but or whatnot, but like get into it too quickly. But the fact that they listen to what we say in terms of our experiences and how we take on the sport, like, bro, it's so cool. Like, that's the best part.
Yeah, I'm just very proud of like the community that we have because it's all around like women from all ages and backgrounds, but it's the way they take what we're saying quite literal and they see it through and just take it because anyone could perceive what we say and make it their own, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can be very unhealthy at some point because you just live out like bad sound bites.
Yeah.
But because we're sharing from a place of obviously love and like care, especially for like these young athletes or even like masters that are just like phenomenal. Like these masters
Yeah.
are no like masters, like I'm just so blown away. Sometimes I'm like, how are you like doing exactly that? And I just feel that people are like really trying to do it the right way because
Yeah.
they see us doing it the right way for so long and like um or like starting to like tell them like, hey, there's an actual right way to do things, and you
Yeah.
don't want to cut short into your process and your journey. Like you really want to enjoy through it all. But so I'm very glad that our messages, I mean, our that's our 44th episode. There's so much thing that has been said, but at the end of the day, like it's always coming from like having the best intention for everybody, and always coming down from like we do want to help. We don't necessarily want you to go through hell and back like we
No.
did. Like if you can actually see it for what it is now, and both of our perspective on the sport have changed and molded into like our own experience. But there's so much joy in what we do, and like there's so much love in what we do, and passion and all good things, that I'm glad that people can do the sport carrying that same love with them, and the care and the fun and the joy and the enjoyment and the experience. Like bro, the fact that I was like, I'm backstage with you, bro, and I'm like, I have my best friend here, I have my idol over here, like, like on a blanket, like we talk with Angelica backstage, like that's what I love, like that's what I live for. I'm like, how am I so blessed of having fun? And don't get me wrong, like I mean, we're gonna get about backstage area, which like it's so funny because how they were like really rushing us, and then you have one that's like kind of losing it, and then you get stressed because you hear something, you're telling me, you're making sure that I heard what they say because I'm kind of like in my own bubble.
I was like, where's
You're
Lauralie? She's not here. She's going to miss it. I was like, Lauralie's not here. She's gone to the bathroom. You need to go find her before she misses getting on stage. And then we stood there for like fucking 20 minutes. And I was like, we did not need to panic. Like,
yeah, no,
it's just fun
it's
moments. It's just so, like, it just makes this journey so special. Like, this Arnold really meant a lot to me, if I'm honest. Like, it really was a lot more special than people realise it for me, if I'm honest.
for sure. There's definitely depth into this, and I think it just comes down of like being so present. And when once you're done with all the work and you really like, you're like, shit, I've done everything. Now what? Now
Yeah.
now let's freaking go. Let's fucking do this thing,
Yeah.
And just when they escorted us backstage, like of course I'm like with you and Angelica. It's like everything, like everything for the good vibes, everything for the good vibes. So, let's go right into the show. Like,
Yeah.
because Friday is just tanning and
Yeah.
just like
Friday was
resting and
chill.
keep,
Friday was very, very
yeah,
chill.
for you too.
I was horizontal for most of the day. Like literally from like the beginning, I got up to check in, went back to bed, got in, checked in, went to bed. Like literally that was my day. So
Were
it
you
was,
actually able to
chill.
sleep?
Yeah, like
Good.
I think it was just from in terms of like stress and stuff. Like I think for me, like we've said before, this prep was quite stressful. So once I'd gotten to Ohio and realized, oh shit, we're actually here. Like all we need to do is literally like we've made it. Do you know what I mean? Once I'd
Yeah.
gotten past that, it was a case of like just rest, just chill now. That's all it comes down to. So yeah, for me, like I was able to sleep easy when I got to Ohio. Like it just felt very, very calm, which was good. So
Any like crazy water protocol? Like, did you pee all day? Like, what
no,
was the
I mean
dealio?
there wasn't any like protocol as such. Like there was no manipulation with water or salt. Like that's something that I've always kept very consistent because it's sometimes very what's the word? Not what it's similar word to unsure. What's the word? Inconsistent. It's sometimes inconsistent. So like,
Yes,
do you know
yes.
what I mean? Like you can't like. I feel like water and sodium manipulations, which also don't like, don't. Oh my god, my brain's not working today.
Not to, babe. Give yourself a chance. Like, you're Pequee, okay, babe? Like, give
don't
yourself a chance. But
don't take my word for it, but I feel like that's more a male thing to manipulate because they have a lot more
yes,
muscle mass. They have to get a lot more condition than we do. I mean, don't get me wrong.
yeah,
I've seen some people manipulate water and salt like for bikini and stuff, but I feel like I've never done it. And I feel like it's just easy to just keep it consistent, unless you obviously push salt a lot and then you just bring it down a little bit. But other than that, I just kept everything consistent. And then I was peeing just a lot in the day just because we were resting. Like just
yeah.
in general, we were just resting. We were just calm. I felt like my inflammation literally went down so much on Friday because I was just relaxed, which was good. How was yours?
Um, I mean, like I said, tanning in the morning, then tanning at night, and then in the afternoon, I was like, you know what? I haven't really like, step outside. I was like, let me walk to my parents' Airbnb, and about like two streets down, I was like, let me actually like go back to bed. Like, what am I doing?
I'm
Like,
one day out. Why am I walking around like outside? Like let's try and
it's
do it. No.
babe, it sounded so great. It sounded so great. I was like, oh, like walkie, go say hi to my parents. They can like drive me back. I was like, 2 street down. I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
And it was cold, to be fair. It was fucking
That
like
day was cold.
chilly. It was
Yeah, that day was
chilly.
cold.
Because I remember when I went to go and get tan, which is, do you know what I actually find hilarious? Is that bodybuilding has made me literally not give a fuck about what I look like sometimes. Because honestly, I'd washed my hair, done my hair, had it in my little wrap. And you know how far it is to walk to there to like the pro tan? I walked through the expo, straight
Full
through,
expo, yeah.
like just with my hair wet in a towel, like no fucks given. I was like, I actually don't care. Like I don't care. And I put it back in obviously for tanning and stuff because obviously I didn't want to get my back wet and stuff. I walked straight through. People were staring left, right, and center, but I was like, I actually don't care. I don't care. I need to have my hair in a bun to keep the curls contained. So this is what you'll watch. That's what you're gonna get from what Phoebe looks like right now.
I don't know how outsiders feel, and I probably need to ask. Like, I want to know what outsiders feel when they, first of all, they're around a bodybuilding show, so they probably guess. But the one like that are in the hotel room, like the hotel elevator. Those moments that first they see us being tan up to here and white as a ghost in the face, like what are they thinking? Like what
Yeah.
are they actually thinking? And then what are they thinking when we're like actually going and we're completely commando, like pro tan stuff, like half the bonnet on your head, like
Yeah.
I mean, for us it's like completely normal. When I saw you in the morning, I was like, babe, just
Oh
you're
my
out
gosh,
of
yeah!
bed
I
with
forgot
that
you saw
with that
it.
little bonnet, like whatever, like little
Bonnet.
cute thing. And you're just like, babe, I'm just gonna go get coffee. I'm like, just don't get caffeinated. And you're like, okay, peace. And we're like, we're just babe, so casual, but I'm like, what are these people thinking? They're like,
Yeah.
where is
Like
she
the people
actually
that aren't
going?
even at the expo, like not
Yeah.
people that aren't
No,
even
no.
related to the Arnolds, like people that are just staying there on the whim that have just
Yes.
booked it the same weekend as the Arnolds, and they see all
Yeah.
these tanned people. That's hilarious. That's actually very true. I mean,
Yeah.
my
I think
Instagram
it's
feed were like, what the fuck is going on?
I think it's even because it's so subtle. Like it's not the same thing as like Comic Con. Like if you're going into like a
No.
place and it's like Comic Con, you're like, okay, they're like costume and shit. But like there, you're like, okay, that person is like literally like absolutely orange, like oompa loompa looking, but she has like no make. It goes all the way to here. Like why did she didn't do her face? Like I'm just
Yeah.
wondering what they think. So if you're listening to us right now, please let us down below. Like what would you tell yourself? Like if you
Yeah.
didn't, like you were that elevator person, like going and you would just be like, what's going on? And
What's
then
going on?
obviously, yeah.
So
So,
let's
so
get to the
yeah,
juicy stuff. So
the
let's get
juicy
to
juice.
show day. So I mean, what was your first initial? I mean, what time did you even wake up? What time did you get your makeup done and stuff? Or wake up?
I woke up at my alarm, which that's a rare thing, but my
Oh.
alarm rang at 6, which is pretty late on show day for me. And I had to go get my makeup done at 7:15. So I woke up, I got my check-in with Kim, and then I went back to my room, warm up the breakfast that we agreed on eating, which was the same thing that I normally eat,
Yeah.
just half the protein maybe. Um, and then went to get my last coat of tan as soon as they open at 7. The last coat of tan is so dry, like it dries super quick. So by 7:15, I got to go get my makeup done, makeup and hair same time. Love it. I was out of there by
Oof, yeah.
8:30.
Oh,
Came
nice.
back to the room again, very very calm. Once when the makeup artists are on time, and the hair are on time, just keeping that really calm area, calm, and then obviously you don't have to like eat too much. I still had a couple meals with me, like a couple like bites to snack on, like if they ever get late. Otherwise I call Aldo and I'm just like, can you bring me food? But that didn't happen. I'm always trying to have like more food than's actually needed with me when I'm close to the show. And then yeah, and then it was almost time to go, downstairs. We have to go meet. So we have to meet all of us, and they walk us through and escort us to the show. So yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice morning though. Like similar to mine, if I'm honest. Like all I did was, well, I didn't. I woke up. I don't know why. I for the last like week I would wake up like right before my alarm. Like I'm talking like 2-3 minutes before my alarm, and I don't know why. Like weird. Like
Yeah.
that whole week it would be like a case of I'd wake up and I'd look at my phone and it's like, oh, my alarm's going to go off in like literally 3 minutes, and I'll just turn it off. It's just weird. I don't know why. But yeah, I woke up at around 6. Well, like my alarm was at 6. I woke up like right before. Obviously checked in, went down, got coffee, saw you. For like 2 seconds, which was so weird because the whole show day we kept on meeting without texting each other. We kept on seeing each other at the exact same moment. Like
Yeah.
coffee, like downstairs, we were downstairs at the same time for coffee. You were leaving, I was going to get coffee, and then when we were both walking to the room, we both saw each other. We didn't text each other. We're like, oh, you're here as well. Saw each other there, and then Angelica was there as well. So yeah, we kept on meeting each other at random points. But yeah, and then my makeup was at about 8, so mine was a little bit later. Hair and makeup was about 8, and then started heading down to go downstairs. I think at around what was it, 9:30 or something like that, or just after.
About that,
And then
yeah.
yeah, and then that was it. Then I saw you, and then we were obviously walking through the expo to go backstage and stuff. And it was, I remember now, like it was pretty go from that point onwards. Like we even went on stage early. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty like quick after that. So it was 9:30, and we went on stage at like 10 to 11.
I kind of like it that way. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. Like, I just think when you dread it too much backstage, it's just like it becomes just too much. Like,
yeah,
you're
I
just like, you
agree.
start craving, like, I should have stayed in my room longer. Like, I could have, like, have a warm meal instead of eating my rice cold. Like, there's
Yeah,
just like little things that but I appreciate the shorter times on stage
yeah,
when
same.
you get there, you have one job to go is to get glazed, you get a little bit settled in, get glazed, put your makeup, maybe like touch up your makeup just a little bit if you had your makeup earlier. I mean, thank God we had our makeup later, so it was pretty fresh,
Yeah.
freshed out. Like you just need a little like Q-tips to like make sure that these are like,
Good to go.
decrusted, good to go. And then, yeah, you pump up, you're lined up, and then it just goes because you're 11 and not
Yeah.
52. So, that was a huge difference for sure.
Yeah. And I think that was the main thing for me was like it was again it was like a case of like it was just like okay you're doing it now versus in your head like okay 11 o'clock we're going to be on stage we're going to line up in like 5 minutes. It's like oh no you're doing that now, and that sometimes just spikes it and you're like oh okay it's happening now, but it makes it more, it does make it a bit more exciting though sometimes when things kind of like go that way because you're like okay let's go, let's do this, and you're like okay this is what we've worked for, let's get on stage now. So but I mean backstage was probably like right before we went on stage, that was probably one of my favorite moments because the music was so good and we were all just dancing around having a good time, and I want Gilco to put up that video because it was absolutely like it was just so fun in the moment.
It
So
was a moment. It was a
yeah,
moment.
it was
It
so
was a
nice.
moment.
So
Yeah.
that vibe like right before we went on stage was very like calming because we were like okay cool let's go, you know. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, it was so much fun. So
And I mean, I swear I'm not the one to like normally dance and like dance or whatever. And even Angelica said like that's the most fun I've ever had backstage. And like
yeah.
she's a one to dance. And I was just like, yeah, like there's just,
Yeah, you're
and
feeling
it's
it.
just, you're feeling it. It was a really good time. You're like, okay, we're just present, we're
Yeah.
all very present. We're all very grateful to be here. Like, let's do this thing, And it
Yeah.
was a little bit, we all were kind of like rushed out, and they were really serious on like starting on time, which I do appreciate as
Yeah.
professionals. Like we do want to, start on time, but it was like, okay, we're here, y'all. We're all ready to go. Let's
Let's do
just,
it.
enjoy,
Oh, it's
So that
getting me
was,
all butterflies. It's cool.
yeah, it was a good time. It was
Yeah.
really a good time. It went by so quickly. I mean, nuts.
Yeah. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
so how did you find prejudging? So how did you find like your time on stage when you did your individuals to comparisons? Like how did you feel prejudging went for you?
So I want to know because you went to the expo before on Friday. You saw the stage how
Yes.
it was. And obviously, are you the one to like strategize? You're like, okay, what side of the stage we're coming in? Like, how is it? Like, did you analyze that on Friday? Like, is that something that you did and like
Yeah.
started visualize?
Yeah, because well, the only reason I did that is obviously I was on the stand for HD for like an hour, not even standing up, but literally sat on my sofa. But we watched Wellness and we saw obviously where the girls were kind of coming out from, and I was like, oh, okay, that's where we'll be coming out from. Because again, when you practice your posing, your actual routine, you're like, okay, I don't know if it's left or right. I'm not too sure. Like it changes. It's changed from year to year, so I don't know what side. So I'm just going to practice both. So when I saw the way that they kind of came on, it was like if you're looking at the stage, it was from the right, and it was like a small little up and then forwards, right? So you technically were coming from the center. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's something I haven't even practiced. So I went after I saw that, I kind of went back and I was like, right, let's have a little practice and see how it feels. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I didn't like analyze it too much because I think sometimes, especially like one day out, especially when it comes to posing, I don't want to overthink too much to the point where it then like you get in your head because you've already practiced, you already know what you need to do. But I think if you then try and change too much, it can be like a bit daunting when you're then thinking about it on stage.
I just think it's, I'm not normally the one to like go that much in depth, but I needed
Yeah.
to understand the stage, and I'm glad
Yeah.
I strategized it. We just did a run through and basically like understood, okay, the stairs, so it doesn't seem so shocking,
Yeah.
at first, because sometimes they would do that to us, sometimes at the Olympia, they separate us and like half of the group is on the right, the half of the group is on the left.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, but I prefer my routine starting from a certain
This.
side of the
Yeah.
stage, you know? But at the end of the day, you need to practice on all sides. But now you need to also understand where the light was going because you're like, I mean, thankfully, so Big Al that was backstage, he's like, okay, the light, the good lighting starts after the little pit that we had. But I had already thought in my head when I looked at the prejudging on the live stream, you could see there was a flooring difference. So I was like, I could see where the wellness that we're doing things too much on the back, on the
Oh,
on the
got
Gilco
you.
videos, you could see the transition of the light on the Gilco
Mm-hmm.
videos. So that was really helpful. So we're very lucky to be on Saturday because wellness don't have that opportunity. They have to think on the spot. And when you're put on the spot, I mean, as a professional, you should like keep your cool and just act like you have this like
Yeah.
completely. But I mean, I was so happy to have that Friday to just be able to like just strategize it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
these are the stairs. I don't know how many step there was. Maybe there would be 5 step or 3 step, but starting a routine from stepping up, like upstairs, it's different than, being static into
Yeah, it
your propose.
is.
And it differentiates from every time that you're doing on stage. So yeah, I did strategize it a little bit more. Normally I'm the one to just like go
Go with the
full
flow.
cold turkey and just don't even practice backstage. But I was like, no, let me just run through it, making sure that I want to make that step in order. And obviously my routine now is so fun. I was so excited to present it to people. And I think you were in the same kind of place as me
Yeah.
because you did make some changes. So
Yeah.
we're so excited. Like, it's entertainment. It's a show time. And people that have shows, like I was thinking, like, let's say Beyonce, she practices
Yeah.
before. Like, she has like, the final practice where like she's actually on that stage that she's going to perform. And I don't know how they call it in French. It's called, like the final run or something. Like, it's like the
Yeah, it kind of is the final one though.
it's like a muck up. It's like a show muck up,
Yeah.
right? It's like a show muck up, but you're actually on stage with the light, with the certain music. You're doing the same performance, and artists have that. But
Yeah.
that's kind of how we are. Like, we're like right where it's like we're performers, but also athletes. But we're also performer at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't have the opportunity to have a muck up on stage. Um,
So you just
as
have to do it in your head.
athlete, we just have to kind of do it in our head until you step on stage. But I'm glad I strategized it a little bit more. So that was probably one of the highlights and the difference of my past experience as like being on stage, because it
Yeah.
was not stage left or right.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I think that's good that you obviously, like we said before, like it's good that you had that kind of like run through with your head like beforehand. I think I've heard people obviously the way that they do it, they sometimes even want to get on stage like on the Friday and like try and run it through before the show starts, and I'm
Yeah.
like I don't want to look into it too much to the point where it then makes me think about it like too much. But I understand that kind of that aspect to it because obviously it was a completely different. It wasn't like just left or right. It was literally upstairs, then small steps, then forwards. I was like, fuck. So, but yeah. I mean, how do you feel? So again, just going back to the question before, how did you feel for your prejudging in terms of routine, comparisons? How did you feel when you were doing everything?
Wow, I sidetracked that question so bad, Phoebe.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
you're good. You're good.
So
I
how
was
did
like,
I
yeah.
felt? I mean, how did you feel? I mean, overall, like, it's a prejudging, you know? It felt very familiar to me. It felt very Olympia to me. It was very straightforward judging. There were no real BS. They kept it really consistent over like all categories as well. I think they
Yeah.
did the same thing with wellness. They just pull out the top two. So that was, and they've been doing that for a while now. Even at the Olympia, they just pull out a certain, top four one year, and then top five or top three, and then they pull out the twos when it's like close. So I would say it felt really familiar to me. Like,
That's good.
nothing really jumped out. What about you? Anything
I mean,
jumped
yeah.
out on?
Like, no, if I'm honest, it was kind of similar where, you get those little nerves before you kind of go on and like, you feel like you want to kind of like just you want to stay nice and calm. So you kind of don't do anything like too, extreme or anything like that. Like, so for me, I mean, yeah, I felt very, very at home. I felt like I said before, I felt at peace. I felt at home when I was on that stage. And I felt very, very proud because obviously for me, this, like I said before, this Arnold for me was like, I want to make sure that I've brought my best overall in terms of this Ohio specific one was, 2022 was something that I didn't bring my best at. The Arnolds, 2023 we didn't do, and then 2024 was redemption. So for me, I felt like I earned that, I had got that, and it felt really good to then be able to present that, So
For
it felt
sure.
very,
Absolutely.
it was a mix of emotions, because like when I said before, like nervous, because it was like, it was nervous right before going on, thinking, have I improved? Is this my best? Is this fully 100%, what I'm happy with? And I definitely was happy in that moment. Obviously with bodybuilding, there's always something you can improve on. But in that moment, I was like, yeah, I am proud. I'm really, really proud that we've got through this prep and we've improved. And that was the main aspects for me. So
And
yeah, Bridget was
how,
great.
so those like insecurities, like, did you feel that before stepping on stage, or you
Yeah,
were like after? It was
before.
before stepping on stage. It's
So
just, you felt
just
just
about like a
insecure about
blip. Just a blip. Like,
how,
am I where I want to be? Am I really my, when you just ask, like, am I really my best? And then I was like, feeling like, I don't know, like looking over things and like feeling things, and I don't know, like I just was like, no, I am at my best. I feel my best. Like right in this moment before I step on stage, I do feel my best. It was me asking myself that question, basically. It wasn't kind of like a self-doubt thing. It was like more me, Phoebe, you happy with the shape that you're taking up stage right now? Yes, I am. I'm really fucking proud. So let's do this. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I do want you to walk us through that, because I think it's very interesting, but I'll ask on Patreon,
Yeah.
our little exclusive episode that's gonna follow up this one, you guys. So, I mean, that's very interesting to me. Definitely want to like
Dive into that for
ask you a
sure.
question. Yeah, because um, I want to know, like, when was that? What did you do? Like, how did you
Yeah.
control your mind and stuff? So,
Did you want to go through that now?
so yeah, no,
No?
no, I'm gonna dive into it on Patreon. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
because
cool.
we're still halfway through. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, that's very prejudging. I mean, the crowd was huge and yet very silent. That was one of my observation, though. I felt like
Yes.
it was quite silent for the size of the crowd that it
100%
was, because
agree.
you could see it like all the way to the back. Um, so that's for, prejudging that we're doing on expo stage. Now, prejudging went by really fast. It's like 11:30. Like, what do you do right
Yeah.
after?
Like, I mean, so I went back to the, so because the HD stand was literally, if you look at the stage, it was to the left and it was like right there. So I just went, that's where Max was. So I went straight to the HD stand. Obviously, what, not on my feet, went on the sofa, watched over like the videos that Max and stuff had got, just to see like tweaks wise what I could do. Because obviously we'll go through this on Patreon as well, but at that moment I felt my best and I felt very, very good. But there was a lot of changes that I made from prejudging to finals to bring my shape up a lot more. I was very, very flat, very, very flat in prejudging, which usually I'm not. So that's something that I wanted to change, obviously going into prejudging, which we'll talk about on Patreon and stuff. But yeah, so I wanted to have a look at the videos and like analyze and see, like, okay, what was it that I looked like? How did the routine go? Because sometimes, obviously, when you're doing the routine, especially because when you said about the silence thing, I was like, I'm the same, because it felt nerve-wracking because it was silent. So I was like, was I bad on stage? Like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I felt good, but I don't know if I was bad because it was silent. Like, I'm not too sure. So yeah, had a look at the routine, kind of looked over things, and like, I like it because when I sit down, and Max obviously has a very good eye for it now, for being like watching me for God knows how many years now. He says like, okay, this is what I think you could do. Like in terms of like, just gives his opinion, and it's just nice.
Right.
Like just kind of having an overall, because it goes by so quickly for me. I'm like, I don't even remember what was going on. So it's nice for him to then be like, okay, this is what happened. This is what happened. You could do this. Like, how did you feel? Like, it's nice to kind of have a bit of a rundown with him. So yeah, did that, and then went back to the hotel room. I ate. That's what I did before between prejudging and finals. We ate a lot of food to fill out, and pumped up a lot within that time. So it was good to fill out my muscles a little bit more. And that was one of my, again, we'll go into that later and stuff. That was one of my feedback, was that I just needed to be a little bit tighter in the glutes, but also it looks quite small, which is very frustrating when you get that type of feedback that you look small, because I'm the heaviest girl on stage. So it's how in my brain am I not the smallest on stage, but how do I look small? So for my frame, I think that's something that I'm learning to, get better at in terms of filling out and not being afraid of obviously food and pumping up and obviously, working with my body a little bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. And I think um, it's also the way you project, and you also have to like separate both, because strategizing now finals that has a different stage, a different lighting,
Yeah.
a different time of the day, like they need to take those variables in in count. And obviously you're not doing the same thing as normal. Like normally, like I would gain like half a pound about each and every meal. After 4 meals prejudging, it's like 11:30. I'm same weight than I woke up. Like I was like,
Yeah.
let me see. I was like, let me see. I'm like the same exact weight. So your body is on freaking overdrive. And you can't treat it as, oh, normally I look really good at like 3 p.m. after I take my pre-workout and like one this, one that. Like you can't really mimic, because it's really not the same.
No.
So, um, so I mean that's good, babe. That's good that you were able to kind of assess and like, strategize in order to be a little bit better. Did you felt small before you got your feedback? Like, did you felt like you were small when you look at the videos? Like, what
No.
was your first?
I mean,
No.
when I went on stage, I didn't feel small until I looked at the videos and the photos and stuff, and then I looked at my just everything, like just obviously next to everyone, and I was like, damn, I look stringy, especially because of my height. And that's also like the feedback, not feedback, but kind of opinions I'd got, and obviously a term that Max also used, like you looked very stringy next to people because they had the projection. You have the height, but you didn't have the projection as much anyway. So you can really notice that, especially because I'm taller, I stand out more because I'm taller. So when you don't see that kind of projection, it shows off even more, I
Yeah.
think. So it's frustrating that I missed the mark for prejudging, because I thought, okay, maybe they can not rejudge for finals, but notice it for finals. And they did, to be fair, because I messaged Attila and she said she noticed. But obviously sometimes it's by that point they'd already made up this decision. So, but it's also learning for me in terms of how I know my body now, like what I need to do and what I can trust for myself in doing. So I think, yeah, it was really, really good to be able to make that change myself and be like, okay, cool, like let's see how everything responds. And it was a good outcome. So yeah, that's good.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. And
How
it
was
just shows how every experience is never the same, and like you're always like learning. And I think when you say you missed the mark, babe, I think you're so hard on yourself,
No,
because I don't
I
think it
know.
was away from it at all. When I
I
look
know.
at your pictures, I think you're stunning. I think on the lineup, you look absolutely stunning, like
Thank you.
outstanding.
Thank you.
I don't think missing the mark is the right term at all.
No, it's
Now
not. I
I get
100%.
it, but I'm glad that you were able to improve on the final stage, because final stage does feel good
Yeah.
when you actually see the improvement, and you see that a little bit of thing, sometimes just following your intuition, and you have kind of freedom to do so, because you know that their decision is pretty much quote unquote made.
Yeah.
So you can go heavy on something that you actually want to try. Like some of the girls, if sometimes like tries a different type of suit, like just
Yeah.
because you actually can, and you can put it on stage. And I've seen that so many times before, and maybe it does a difference, maybe it doesn't, but
Yeah.
you're there to have fun. And I think that finals, you're allowed to do that. So
Yeah. Have fun
that's
with it.
that's
Enjoy
really
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
How was your prejudging to finals? Like, what did you do? I know you said you slept. You're like, I
So
napped
I
pretty
went,
much.
we went back. We had a little like food at the restaurant where they have the athletes menu and
Yeah.
stuff. So everybody kind of ate for a little bit, and then I went back to the room and just napped it out. I showered. I took a shower, like,
Oh,
yeah, I it rinsed off, and that was amazing. I just went to bed, crashed. That's the reason why I don't take caffeine in the morning before a show, because I know I wouldn't be able to sleep at that
yeah.
time after prejudging. Slept it out until 4 p.m. Woke up at 4, went to see Kim, game plan for finals, get my stuff ready, and then, refresh a little bit. And then we were heading out to finals. And
Nice.
that's when you were like, wait, are we going? Are we not going? And then we're
Oh
like, might as
yeah.
well just go.
Yeah, because I was like, we may as well go because obviously I know. I mean, we were backstage for a little bit, but then it kind of all worked out in the end anyway because we had that. Obviously, we had nice backstage talks with like Angelica. We were sitting with everyone,
Yeah.
and then it actually went really quickly. Like we were actually backstage for around 2.5 hours, but it went so quick.
It's just because that backstage area is, one, is familiar. Two, they really set up really nice.
Yeah.
So I was like, when I was backstage, we're like, both of us were like, should we go back to the room? But it wasn't, we
Yeah.
knew it wasn't going to be a bad backstage area where like it smells or like you're cold. I mean,
No,
like on the floor, like, even on the floor that is like this nice
it's
carpet
comfy.
and they
Yeah, I was
have
gonna
the
say it's
mirrors,
comfy.
it's comfy. So I was like, no, might as well just go. And like, we really had good chats and it was easygoing. And then, the show must go on. So
Yeah.
it went on and yeah, finals are finals,
Finals are finals.
confirmation rounds, that little, you know, thing that went on with just the routine. Like you don't do the routine and then you do the routine and
Oh
then
my god,
all
yeah.
the
I was
girls
like,
were
are we
like,
doing
wait,
the routine or
we're
not?
gonna
That was
um
funny.
and then we
Yeah.
did it and we got obviously the awards
You got the
and that was very special.
victory.
I
Oh,
know.
do you know what my favorite part of that was? When, which I love because everyone had your back in that moment. Not obviously meaning it to be, but Bob went 2 time, and I'm not even kidding. All of us, like 6 to 2nd, we all went 3 time. We all shouted. I don't know. Obviously, you probably didn't hear, but when he obviously said 2 time, everyone literally turned around and went, 3 time. Like, get it right. Like, it was so funny
I
because
could
it was like everyone
I
had that like moment.
I saw a video and I think I recorded it. I'll send it over to you. But
Yeah.
you could see like you extended your arm,
I
bro.
was
You
like,
went like you can see just your arm like reaching out, like you were like, and you can just see you like just
three.
literally just like extending your arm like this. And I did it too. And then I was laughing at Bob. I was like, he's like, I can't even keep track anymore. I'm
No, I
like,
know, and it wasn't his fault. Obviously, it was just a funny
no,
moment where it was like everyone had your
it,
back in that moment. It was like recognize 3 time. So it was cool. It was really really
yeah.
cool. And there was a moment as well that someone actually sent me. When and I remember it now that she sent it to me. I didn't remember it before, but when you walked on stage, obviously you passed me before you went on for your routine, and we locked eyes for like 2 seconds. And there's someone sent me a really cute little screenshot, and we're just
Stop.
completely. I need to send it to you, but we're literally both locked on like right before you walk on stage, and it's so cute. And I was like,
I remember.
so
I was
sweet.
so present, and I
Yeah.
know because Big Al was like, "Do you want me to like put the girls apart so you can like walk right into?" Because they
Yeah.
were placing the diagonal,
Oh yeah.
and the diagonal was kind of like far back. You
Yeah.
girls weren't like close by. I was like, no, no, no. I'll go around, and then we like. I can't believe like so the camera like probably like filmed
Well,
us
it
and they
didn't.
start looking my face.
It didn't. So it wasn't. It's not a close one. It's like a little bit further away, but you can see
Uh,
like you can see it clearly. Like your eyes are literally just like right, like, and it's not even like you're actually facing me. Your eyes are literally just like this, like at me, and I'm just like smiling, like, ee. It's so cute.
no, I
I need to
remember.
message you. I need to send it
I
to you, but
remember.
I'm
But
so fucking proud. Like so proud, and I'm glad that we got to have this experience together. Like it just feels really really raw and just amazing to be able to be up there together. Do you know what I mean? Like and do what
it
we love.
was.
So
It was. It was. How did you feel when Bub called your name
like
for
for awards or
awards?
for awards. So for awards, I mean, it was amazing to be able to get top five. Like if I actually think about it, no UK bikini girl has ever placed top five in an Arnold before, in Arnold, Ohio, ever. So for me to be able to represent I always say this, for me to be able to represent my country and do that, like that's so special to me. And especially for this season was, again, like I said before, the redemption season. It's like, that's so cool, bro. Like so cool. And
And
like I
babe,
said, oh, you go.
it's the way that you are and the way that you look while representing, the UK, which
Yeah.
it's just so amazing to me. Like I'm really proud of you because it's the way that you carry yourself, but it's the physique that you have, which is so it's so Olympia. It's so international. It's so beautiful. And it just shows like you're the proof that you can fucking make it. And I understand, the discrepancies because, I went on a couple podcasts and we talked about that, like between Europe and US. But it's like,
Yeah.
bro, like if Phoebe is not the best representation for that, I mean, I don't know what is. So
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you. And I think, your final physique was even more so unbelievable.
Thank you.
So
I love you so much. Yeah.
definitely,
I mean,
definitely.
it was a like I said before, it was a tough run. Like it's funny because a lot of people said that I glowed differently this prep in terms of like they said that you look like you enjoyed this prep, and it just shows that obviously it's not a case of trusting everything online, but obviously it's not always what it seems. So for me, this prep wasn't the greatest. It was the hardest I've ever had to push, and it was a lot of personal stress and stuff going on as well. So but at the other side, that's why it kind of makes it so special for me. I still made it through. Like there was a lot of shit that I could have been like, do you know what, I can't do this again. Like I can't I can't go through it. I need to like stop doing it or whatever. But I wanted it so badly to step on that stage and bring a shape that I was proud of. I was like, no, nothing's stopping this at the moment. So for me, it's the proudness for me that shines mostly. So yeah.
You know what? Something came up to my mind, like at the same time that you said that, and like correct me if I don't have this correctly, but I'm pretty sure that I remember you saying at some point you did have imposter syndrome, and I think that Arnold prep, as hard as it was, bro, I think for the first time you felt like I'm not imposter, like I'm here, and I
Yeah.
deserve to be here, and I represent everything that I preach, and I think that that is probably why it glowed differently. It's not because
Yeah.
of how hard this prep has been. It's because for the first time you dropped that imposter syndrome that used to creep out on you. I don't feel like you. I mean, I don't feel like you had that this prep at
No.
all.
I mean, I definitely didn't feel it as much. Like, especially towards the end of the prep, I started to really realize, like, okay, this is what this is what I recognize and this is what I feel now. Regardless of everything going on, like that was going on at the time, I was like, right, I can. The only thing I can control is my prep at the moment. So I'm gonna control it as much as I can to the point where I really am bringing my best, and I believe fully just say I actually believe in myself versus being like, oh, I don't know, I'm not too sure. Like, stop being doubtful or stop being unsure and just fucking like go all in on it and believing yourself.
Babe,
And
it's
I
it's
really
your
felt that.
it's your it's your name on that list. It's
Yeah.
your country on that list. It's you on that list. Nobody can take your spot. And you took that spot fully. And it took a hard prep, but you finally took that spot.
Yeah.
And now you're carrying in like now you're just gonna go defend your title, bro. Like it's and that like I just feel that you finally feel like you're your own missing puzzle piece. Like you're the one carrying. Like I'm the one who's gonna put that like right where Phoebe, my name is.
Yeah.
I'm the one. I'm gonna put that right on there because that's my spot, and I'm the only one that can bring that spot at that spot right there. And it's yours. It's yours no matter what. Like so I'm so proud of you because I feel like um, there's a reason why that word just came out of my mind because I know you struggled with that in the past, and I think that you're not an imposter. You're Phoebe full on and like a great one, and you have so much more room to improve. But it's your spot, and you're finally taking it fully.
Yeah. Thank you, my girl. I love you so much.
Yeah.
I really, really do.
So
So, I mean, yeah, like that's me. Like when Bob obviously called my name for fifth place, like it was like again an incredible feeling to be able to be in that top five spot for me. So like it was just cool to be out on that podium and be like, wow, I've made it.
that picture, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, 100. That's the picture I've just been envisioning on like in my brain for like every cardio session, every training session, everything. Like right, that top five photo. That's where I want to be. I want to be in that photo. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, how does it feel to be three-time Miss Bikini International, my girl? How do you feel the third time in a row?
I mean, even before getting to that, I feel like we could probably target that in Patreon because I feel like I've
Oh
answered that
yeah.
question so many times. I mean, I'm obviously on cloud nine and it hasn't really settled in yet, which I don't really want it to be settled in yet.
Yeah.
But no, to finish off this episode, I want to say that after finals, like I just feel like I just miss seeing the girls like right after because you girls kind of just disappear. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like they're carrying me this way and you girls are backstage. So I wasn't able to say
Oh
congratulations to anybody, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
like I could just like congratulate the girl that made the top five. But what an incredible freaking lineup, bro. I don't know if you watched the prejudging in the finals, like
yeah,
the girls, like I'm like, how is this second call out? How the
yeah.
heck?
All of
These
us
girls
were
look
brought it.
so freaking phenomenal, and I feel like everyone brought it. There was not one that feels like, oh shoot, how did she get the invitation? Like everything was so elite and justified and polished. Everyone was so polished and so beautiful and nice, and it felt professional. And I just feel that that's I miss that. I just feel like I really wanted to go backstage. Like, where are the girls? Like, I went back. I didn't even have the time to get the food. I was like, oh my God, I didn't
Did you
even have the time to get
not?
the food. I was like, no, babe, you remember you were like, I grabbed the cookies because I'm like, you weren't back. I went
Oh
backstage like so
yeah,
late. So I
yeah,
didn't really see the girls and everything. So I feel that next time, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a next time, but if whomever is doing the Arnold again, like let us go back to like
yeah,
our little like girl moment, cheer everybody, hug everybody. We'll see you next time because we're not going to see each other for a while. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's like um, to just wrap up the experience. I think that would be great. But yeah, third time does feel good, babe. It's a little
I
bit
saw your little
surreal.
change, like you were like change your Instagram, and I was like, that's my girl.
I mean,
Third time.
I had it planned. I was like, okay, if I win, I'm gonna do this like little cute video thing. You start. That's what I do prejudging. You just start thinking about,
Yeah,
like because this prep has been so execution. It was just kind of like executed one foot in front of the other type of thing that I was like, Kim, we need to talk about this prep because like jogging, bringing down my glutes, like how the heck, like what in the actual world, happened.
yeah.
So no, like babe, it's a huge responsibility. I do take it as, being like really honored to be there. I work my butt off to be there. Very, very thankful for it. I think people remind me how big of a deal it is, but
Yeah.
it's just it's just um it's just good times. It's just good time.
Yeah.
But
And you should be so
yeah,
proud. You honestly should
thank
be
you,
so
babe.
proud. So, so
Thank you,
proud.
babe.
So we're
Thank
gonna
you.
continue. We're gonna continue this on this conversation, all the juicy little details on our Patreon. So if you aren't signed up already, head to the link in the description box below, and you can sign up to our Patreon. We're gonna go ahead now and talk about all fun things like judges' feedback, kind of our experiences, updates of what kind of like news that we have going on, kind of moving forwards and stuff like that, which I know obviously everyone wants to know about and stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and obviously
The
so
big elephant in the room
the
is
elephant
going
in
to
the room.
be on Patreon. So
Yeah,
follow
so
along.
yeah, follow along. If you don't already, obviously make sure you subscribe to us. Make sure you obviously listen to us on Spotify. But yeah, we love you guys so much. Thank you guys always for watching. It means the world to us that you support us so highly with our platforms. Like that was one of my best moments. Like running it back to Thursday when so many people mentioned the podcast. Both of us, like that always makes my heart so warm. So it makes it just that little bit more special.
It feels so right. It feels so good. Yeah. Again, thank you guys so much, and congratulations to all the amazing women. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and
Yeah.
we love our strong, courageous, brave, independent boss Bob,
Boss
whatever,
Bob.
boss babe. Boss babes, so shout out to all of you that are listening to us. I know there's actually boyfriend and husbands that
Yeah.
actually also listen to us, and dads apparently. So shout out to all of you that are listening to
Yeah.
us. We love you guys so much, honestly. And Yeah, Patreon is going to be a juicy.
Juicy, juicy. So stay tuned. Love you
Stay
guys.
tuned, you guys. Love you, Phoebes. Talk to you soon.